Nearly 1 in 4 claim denials start at the front desk. The registration and our initial patient intake is an absolutely vital part of our revenue cycle, and it is where all of the possible errors can start because, as the old adage says, garbage in is garbage out, meaning if you put incorrect information into your software, then you will submit incorrect information to an insurance carrier and potentially cause your claim to be rejected and denied. So it's absolutely vital that you understand the process of patient registration, scheduling, and everything that takes place at our front desk. So we're going to look into our software today and take a look at some of the functions and talk through the functions of our front desk at the stage of a new patient coming to our office and them registering and getting set up in our software. Let's go ahead and dive in. Oh, but before we do, my name is Jasmine Vialise. If you're new here, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This is Inlera University, where we focus on alleviating the stress and confusion in the business of healthcare. We do that by providing videos like this, as well as training and community resources that you can find in our links below. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing I would like to do is point out where our registration can take place. Now, I highly recommend that where possible, you do your best to do intake for your patients before they come to the office. And that would be things like phone registrations or patient portal registrations, meaning they input the information themselves, where they can also provide to you things like their insurance card and their identification as well, so that you can verify their insurance before they come into the practice. But this means that you would start your patients by accessing your calendar. Okay, so within my software here, I'm using this practice management software called Open Practice. It's a really great comprehensive solution for anybody who runs their own medical practice and for those of you who are desiring or already own your own medical billing practice. So when I set up my new patient, I can select to register my patients here, and I can go ahead and put in my patient's information. So if I'm doing this by phone, I'm going to select to register my new patient and capture all of the things that are highlighted in yellow here. If you have the ability, you can go ahead and capture more details as well. Certainly recommend that you make sure that you have a phone number here and an email address, especially if you intend to send paperwork to your patients before their appointment. Other thing to confirm is whether they are financially responsible for their account, and then you can get their insurance information here. So it's very vital here that we go ahead and insert our insurance information prior to the patient coming to the practice, because that will give us adequate time to verify our patient's insurance before they are in front of us and ready to go see our provider, okay? So you'll do that by entering in your patient's information, making sure that you have the policy number, ideally getting their group number as well, and ensuring that you have the right insurance company selected. That gives you the correct phone number as well. All right. The other thing that you'll notice here is once you select an insurance here, you'll also have this box that will illuminate that if that insurance company is set up to verify eligibility, then you will be able to electronically verify eligibility, which will very simply go out to the insurance company through the clearinghouse and pull back that patient's current eligibility and some of their benefit information as well. All right. If your patient has multiple insurances, you'll also be able to insert their additional insurances here as well and make sure that that information is also verified. A lot of the remaining information here you can input once your patient has completed their intake form, and that information might automatically populate if you're using an electronic version. Have your patients also sign off on your legal and financial documents as well. Those forms, such as your assignment of benefits, which means the patient is saying that they would like the insurance company's benefits to be assigned and paid out directly to you. That is where we would make sure that we have this selected here so that our signature on file form is there, so we can make sure that box is checked off on our claim, and that which really does impact the processing of our claim. So I want to add that so you understand that if you do not select that this patient and your patient did not sign their assignment of benefits and you don't input this information on your patient's registration, then actually the box will not be checked on your claim, and that is the very quick way for your claim to get mixed up in processing oftentimes pay directly to your patient, which means your patient will receive the payment and the expectation is for that patient to sign over the check to you, which can be, of course, a bit of a headache to keep track of. So very important, whether or not you have a contract with the insurance company, you must be sure to select that the patient has signed these assignment of benefits and make sure that you have that on file. The other thing I want to make sure of is that you also are selecting whether the patient has signed your HIPAA documents. This is just going to give you an opportunity to provide proof electronically within your patient's account that they have taken all of the steps for you to prove your compliance. All right. So once you have registered your patient, you are then selecting your patient and making sure that that patient's type of visit is selected correctly, which means that once you've registered your patient, you've also done that verification of insurance. You're making sure that whatever the reason for their visit is also selected, because this might also trigger an additional step. For example, if you're a specialist office and you know for certain procedures you need to obtain authorizations, then you might want to identify that underneath your appointment type, and that will give you an alert or a flag that says, okay, this is a patient that we know needs authorization. All right. Once we have the authorization information, we can add in the authorization information here, and that will make sure that information gets added to your claim. The other thing to know is that if you are having a patient come in for recurring visits, such as a therapy practice or some sort of therapeutic modalities, such as chiropractic or acupuncture, physical therapy, mental health services, oftentimes when you have an authorization or a certain plan of treatment, you then know estimated the number of visits that patient will come into the office. And this is a good chance for you to go ahead and create that type of case. So for example, knowing that our patient is coming in because of a particular diagnosis, meaning whatever assigned diagnosis here, and then attaching that authorization information to this particular case. This is oftentimes supportive for things like workers' compensation and automobile accidents as well. And so you can also input the details of that accident or injury within here as well, and that will make sure that information shows up on your claim. The other thing to note here is that for OBGYN services, also input the pregnancy date here as well. This is also useful for our OBGYN services. All right, so we'll want to make sure that we are linking the date of current accident as well for our new patients. If the patient has had an accident or injury, that needs to be considered for these particular claims to be reimbursed by that insurance carrier. All right, once you save this information, you have created a case by which you can link to, and that information will automatically appear when you select that case for all of your future claims. So it will prevent you from having to repeatedly select and input your date of injury information, as well as the diagnoses and authorizations that need to be taken in consideration for this particular claim and date of service. All right, so once you have that case information here, again, the authorization, you can also input your referring provider. The referring provider information will also populate on your claim. Be sure that you have your referring provider's full details input into your software, including their NPI numbers and, if necessary, their UPIN numbers, right, which is our unique provider identifier numbers. Oftentimes in this day and age, many insurance companies do not require the UPINs, but carriers such as Medicaid and Medicare will oftentimes still require that you input this unique provider ID number and the NPI number. So you'll want to make sure that you're selecting the proper referring information, and you can input any additional notes here as well. Now, it's really important that you know that we are at this moment creating our patient's appointment, right? But as we're doing that, we are building. This is adding an appointment, but we are building our patient's case as well, so that when our patient comes into the office and their account is being prepared to go to the back office, you already have a great foundation on which to build. So when our patients come in, the anticipation is that our front desk is verifying the information that was input by phone or received electronically from our patient's electronic registration process. Now, the most important thing I want you to think about is when our patients are being registered, be sure that you are trying to run eligibility to confirm what this patient's benefits are. If for some reason with your practice or specialty, you cannot verify insurance with this particular insurance company, then you're going to have to pick up the phone, But I will suggest that if you have trouble the first time, go ahead and reach out to your software company and see if they can provide you with the steps to get enrolled with that company, because this will save you so much time. Because the next recommendation I have for you when the patient comes into the office, because we don't know how much time has transpired between when they booked their appointment and when they've shown up. So we want you verifying or running eligibility again, whether or not it happens when they walk in the door or you do it within 24 hours of their appointment. It needs to happen closer to their appointment time so that we can be as confident as possible that when we send our claim out for this date of service, the patient's insurance will be valid and the claim will be processed and processable if the patient's insurance is currently valid. All right. Many times within our software these days, we can see things like RTE, which means real-time eligibility, which means our patients, as they're coming in, we can have it automatically check throughout the day for all of the patients that are on the schedule for the future or for whatever time period you have determined. That often can happen, again, by the appointment arrival time or by batch, meaning for an entire period, you might have the system look for eligibility for your patients to ensure, again, that when the patient is coming to the practice, the insurance information is active and billable. All right. So if you do not have the ability at this moment to check your patient's eligibility within your software, then reach out to your software company and try to get that set up as soon as possible, because it can make or break your claims. My friends who have specialties in which they desire to call the insurance or reach out a little bit more manually, that's fine. However, I highly recommend that you still have both an RTE and reach out to your insurance carrier so that you can make sure that the information that you are verifying is giving you detailed benefits. But when the patient has their appointment, we want to ensure that that detailed benefits is still billable at the time of service. All right. I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much for watching this first step in our revenue cycle. We're going to continue to march through the revenue cycle within this software and help you understand how to best use your software, whether you're using Open Practice or any other solution. You can take this information we've talked about today and apply it to your scenario or whatever solution you have in your practice or organization. If you feel a little stuck and unsure what to do here with this area or any area of the revenue cycle, know that you can always reach out to us. The links to book a session with me one-on-one can be found in the description box below. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.